spring afternoon in Texas. The sky's threatening rain. Two groups of teenagers cross paths at a high school track meet. They clash over space. Tensions rise, and in under 5 minutes, one teen's fatally stabbed, and another's life hangs by a thread. April 2nd, 2025, Kuykendall Stadium in Frisco, Texas. What started off as just another regular Wednesday morning quickly turned into something unforgettable. A day that had sparked debates about self-defense, justice, and responsibility, and tear the families apart. I'm the crime sleuth, and today, we're diving into the tragic story of Karmelo Anthony and Austin Metcalf. It's a case that shows how quickly things can spiral out of control and how social media can turn a local incident into a national crisis. Think about it, how many of us have had a moment when one decision changed everything? When one single moment altered the course of our lives? This was that moment. Before we get into it, I want to take a second to acknowledge something real important. Behind every headline and viral post, there are real people in deep grief. A young life was lost, and others at risk, and to families are absolutely devastated. As we explore this case, let's keep that in mind and approach it with the respect and sensitivity it deserves. Now, let's cut through the noise and look at what we know, and more importantly, what we don't know about this heartbreaking event that's got everyone talking. The incident. What we know for certain, right? Let's start with the facts we know. It was Wednesday morning, April 2nd, 2025. The scene was Kuykendall Stadium in Frisco, Texas, where UIL District 11-5A track meet was taking place. Karmelo Anthony, 17, a student at Centennial High School, was there at the track meet. Austin Metcalf, 17, a junior at Memorial High School, was also there, hanging out with his group, including his twin brother. The weather? Unpredictable. It had started raining, and Metcalf and his friends took shelter under a tent set up for the Memorial High School track team, where Anthony was also sitting. Here's where things get blurry. We know there was a disagreement over space. Words were exchanged. There was some physical contact between Metcalf and Anthony. But the details? Yeah, they're kinda unclear. Anthony reportedly warned Metcalf not to touch him. And just like that, Anthony pulls out a pocket knife and stabs Metcalf once in the chest. 911's called. Emergency responders show up quickly, but Metcalf's rushed to the hospital and, well, he's declared dead. Anthony stayed at the scene and was arrested. So yeah, those are the basic facts. But as we dig deeper, we'll see how the story gets way more complicated. Before we go any further, let's clear something up. You might be wondering why Karmelo Anthony, just 17 years old, is being charged as an adult. In most states, 17-year-olds are tried as juveniles, but Texas has concurrent jurisdiction for 17-year-olds. That means, in Texas, anyone who's 17 is automatically processed through the adult criminal justice system if they're involved in serious crimes, like murder. So, even though Anthony's still in high school, he faces adult charges that could send him to prison for many years. Teenage disputes. Yeah, they often escalate real quick. The teenage brain's still learning how to handle emotions and think through consequences. Of course, the big difference here is that one teen had a weapon, and that changed everything. The competing narratives. Now, when we look at what happened that day, we're faced with two very different stories. It's like seeing the same event from different angles. The facts are the same, but how people see it, yeah, that's where it gets messy. Let's start with Karmelo Anthony's version. As told by his family and legal team, the Anthony family says Karmelo was just sitting under the Memorial High School team's tent when Austin Metcalf and his group showed up. According to them, Metcalf confronted Karmelo, demanding that he move. When Anthony didn't budge, Metcalf allegedly grabbed him. Anthony told him to back off, but Metcalf didn't stop being aggressive. Feeling threatened, Anthony pulled out his pocket knife to defend himself and stabbed Metcalf. The Anthony family believes Karmelo was just trying to protect himself. They point out that he's got no criminal history and he's an honor roll student. Now, let's flip to the Metcalf family's version. They say Austin and his friends were just trying to shelter under the tent from the rain. Austin politely asked Anthony to move out from under their team's tent. Austin's twin brother, who saw the whole thing go down, says it happened with no warning and was totally unprovoked. The Metcalf family says Austin was unarmed and had no history of violence. To them, this whole incident could have been avoided. So, the big question here is, was Karmelo really scared for his life, or did he overreact to a minor disagreement? Have you ever seen two people go through the same event, but their stories are completely different? In Texas, self-defense laws say you can use force if you reasonably believe you're in immediate danger from someone else's unlawful force. But what one person sees as a threat might not seem threatening to someone else. Think about it. If a bigger person steps toward you in a small space, You might get scared even if they don't actually touch you, but someone else might not think it's a big deal. Our experiences, our size, all that stuff plays into how we react to potential threats. The legal proceedings and aftermath. After the stabbing, the legal process kicked in fast. Anthony was arrested and charged with first-degree murder. His bond was set at $1 million, which is pretty high for a charge like that. Bond? Yeah. It's misunderstood a lot. Some people think it means the accused is getting off easy, but bond is just a way to make sure someone shows up for trial. It doesn't say anything about guilt or innocence. Anthony's bond was later reduced to $250,000, which basically meant the court didn't think he was likely to run away after he got out. Anthony had more trouble. He might get expelled from school. A lot of schools have rules that apply to students even outside of school hours, especially if there are criminal charges involved. Meanwhile, this case blew up on social media. Posts, videos, and comments flooded TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. Some folks backed Anthony, some backed Metcalf, and others just slammed both. Many of these opinions were based on incomplete or flat-out wrong information. Misinformation spread like wildfire, and both families had to deal with online harassment. Even the judge who lowered Anthony's bond got harassed. Race also became a big issue, even though both families asked for it to stay out of it. Karmelo's black, and Austin's white, so of course some people tried to bring race into it, despite both families saying they didn't want that to happen. As of mid-April 2025, the grand jury is still reviewing the evidence to decide if they're gonna indict Anthony. An indictment, that doesn't mean guilt, it just means there's enough evidence for a trial. The human toll beyond the headlines in every true crime story. There are real people dealing with unimaginable loss. In this case, the Metcalf family lost Austin's son, brother, and twin. He was 17, just about to graduate high school. His life was taken too soon. Austin's twin brother had to watch the whole thing and will carry that trauma with him forever. The Metcalf family has had to grieve in public, while also fighting against false claims about their son. For the Anthony family, Karmelo's future is up in the air. If he's convicted, he could spend decades behind bars. His education's on hold, and his whole life has been thrown into chaos. Like the Metcalf family, the Anthonys have had to deal with online harassment. Both families? Yeah. They're unwilling players in a tragedy that's been played out in front of millions. Tragedy doesn't choose sides. In the end, everyone loses something irreplaceable.
The broader questions this case raises. This case raises some big questions about justice, self-defense, and social media. When is it truly okay to use force in self-defense? In Texas, self-defense laws say you can protect yourself if you reasonably believe you're in immediate danger. But what does that actually look like in real life? Self-defense laws require both a reasonable belief that force is needed and that the response is proportional. What one person sees as a threat might not seem threatening to someone else. This case also shows us how social media can mess with justice. Online, people are often judged based on headlines and viral videos, not the facts. This case reminds us how important it is to check the facts before jumping to conclusions. The court of public opinion moves fast, but it doesn't always get it right. If this case got you thinking about the justice system, here's what you can do. Research the facts. Always try to read original court documents before sharing anything about a case. Follow the full story. Set up alerts for the cases you care about so you don't miss the updates. Listen to all sides. Make sure you hear from both the defense and the prosecution, not just one side. These simple actions will help you be a more informed observer of the justice system. What started as a disagreement at a high school track meet ended with one teen dead and another facing serious charges. Was Karmelo's use of deadly force justified? Could this have been prevented? The case of Karmelo Anthony and Austin Metcalf shows us how fragile life is, how quickly things can escalate, and how differently we all see the same events. Justice moves carefully, while social media rushes ahead, often blurring the truth. Be mindful of what you share online, because every headline impacts real lives.